Good evening, good evening, good evening. Come on in here, come on in. This is a beautiful Tuesday. The weather is okay so far. A lot of thundering and out there, but no rain so far, so it's good. Hi, Carol. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please go ahead, everybody, and like and share as you come on. And get ready to have a special guest on today. So I'm super excited about that. So just get ready. Just come on in here, get relaxed, and get ready. Hello, Dan. Thanks for tuning in. But welcome, everyone, to Build Your Best Life with Deborah D. Smith. Whether you are watching from Nigeria, the Bahamas, all over the United States, Canada, wherever you are viewing from, welcome, welcome, welcome to Build Your Best Life. You know, obstacles come in all forms, such as bullying, cyberbullying, low self-esteem, obesity, hunger, homelessness, lack of education, and many other obstacles face our young people every single day. My platform is designed to assist high school age and young adult males as they follow my basic principles to overcome these obstacles and to build their best lives. I believe it is better to train early rather than to fix later. So again, welcome so much. And remember, please like, comment, and share. We need some engagement here today. So thank you so much. I have a special guest today, and we are talking about help. I need you to succeed. I need you to succeed. And for the month of August, you know, I am talking about relationships and how relationships are important. But all of us need somebody. And don't think that you have to go it alone. Everyone has someone assigned to assist you. You never know where or how you will receive your help. But Dr. Cheryl Allen of Dallas, Texas has a gift and a purpose to assist. So be open and accept your gifts wherever they may come from. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Cheryl. But good evening, Cheryl. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Great.
Thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much for being on. All right. Now, Cheryl has been called to the service of education for 39 years. I cannot believe that. She has served in the following capacities as classroom teacher, middle school and high school counselor, assistant principal, professional development administrator, and consultant. Her educational background includes the following degrees: education doctoral degree from Texas A&M University, commerce and educational leadership, master's degrees in school counseling, as well as educational administration from Texas A&M University. She has a bachelor's degree in English, Spanish from North Texas State University. Through Cheryl's educational career, she served in the following school districts: Dallas ISD, Mesquite ISD, Garland ISD, along with several charter schools. Most of her experience as a classroom instructor was in the middle school grades, and she loved working with this group because they are so curious at this age. Counseling is her second love in education because of the broad range of social issues that our young people face today in society. Currently, Cheryl has the honor and privilege to work as an adjunct professor and writing center tutor at Dallas College and a field supervisor coach for new teachers seeking their certification through the Alternative Certification Program at Region 4 in Houston, Texas. As a retired educator, she continues seeking how to touch the future today. Her mantra is the Mesquite ISD for many years through the college students and new educators that she has coached. She was born and raised in Dallas, Texas. Cheryl is a happy, single Christian woman who was a doggy mom to her Pekingese and best friend Sugar for 15 years until she passed recently on July 8th, 2021. Poor little poo-poo. So I am so delighted to have Cheryl on here today. Again, is there anything else that you want to tell us about yourself?
I just wanted, that's like, that was beautiful. Who wrote that? I would, just the only thing I don't know that I put in there, that education, your audience will probably be able to tell, is my passion. It is definitely, I know now, it is my calling, to be, that, that light for students, to help them navigate this journey that we're on called life. And also I just want to say too, that everything that I do and I say is fueled by my faith. And so you will see that just kind of interwoven in everything that I say. So it's not, I don't differentiate or separate those anymore in my life. It's not separation of church and state, because I am a one person, one human being that is Christian bound.
Awesome. I'm so glad to have you again. Welcome, Carol. Carol is coming to us from Mesquite, Texas. We got Agnes Copeland, Robert Copeland, Hubert Watson, Dan Smith, Jocelyn Charles. Thank you all for tuning in. And we are ready to dig in. So come on in, like, and share. All right, Carol, we know that students need educators to survive. I mean, it's just a given. I don't know why our educators are not way up there when it comes to essential workers, those needed, because without educators, I don't know where we would be. Are students kind of like reluctant to seek assistance?
When I read this question, I thought about the African proverb, that it takes a village to raise children and to help them to grow and maximize their potential. And so I think educators, that's a broad term for parents, for teachers, for administrators. And yes, of course, our students need all of us to succeed. I don't know whether, when I think about, are they reluctant to respond and to seek assistance? In my experience, I would say that it's more of a lack of awareness and lack of knowledge of how to navigate systems that they are, a part of, from first kindergarten, first grade, all the way through their careers. That they must be educated on how to seek assistance. It's not just that we should assume that everybody knows how to ask for help. I mean, some students, especially it seems like our males, it's kind of an ego thing that they don't need help and they can do this all by themselves. But we must say that, tell students that there's nothing wrong with seeking help. And if you don't know your way, instead of being lost, ask somebody. And we all, at some point in our lives, have had, we as adults have had mentors. We have, our parents. The parents are the first teachers. They're the first educators. And so just making that, kind of the norm, instead of, just for special cases and for special people, that everybody should know that at some point in your life, you're going to need help. You're going to need help. And there is always someone. God has a ram in the bush, or God has an angel. God has someone who is, if you're wanting to succeed and to be on the right path, and somebody is there to lead you. So I don't know that it's all reluctance. I think that some students are shy. Ironically, it seems like our girls know how to access the system a lot better than our young men. But that's maybe because we are naturally communicators, and we're oral, and we talk, and we hear other people talking and then we want to do that. But with the guys, I think that it's more of they need permission. It's not an ego thing. It's not that you're weak if you need help. It's that you are actually wise and smart if you need help. And so I think the reluctance is more of that. I think it's cultural. And I think that they just haven't been given permission to seek that help that they need. But that's from my experiences.
Okay.
I grew up with 4 brothers. I didn't say that either. I have 4 brothers. I have no sisters. So this is also based on some of their experiences as well.
All right. Okay, so we need to kind of like assist our young men and communicate to them, that it's okay not to know something, and it's okay to ask. Sometimes people think, well, if I ask that, that's going to be a silly question. Well, it's going to be a silly question if you don't ask and you don't know, and then you have to struggle because you don't know, you're not getting that help that you need. So it's okay.
Right. Yeah. I think it's both cultural and I think it's ego. So with that you said that, silly questions, because they are worried about, especially middle school and high school, it's that confusion versus identity stage. And so they want to identify with their peers. They want to be cool. And they don't want to not know something. But none of us know everything. Nobody knows everything.
Yeah. Okay. Carol says, in education, there are more women. This could be a reluctancy as well.
Oh, okay. That's true that we have more, especially at the high school level, we have more women. We have coaches, and this just doesn't seem to be the same when you look at sports. And that's later on. I answered that on another question. But when you look at sports and students want to succeed there, they don't mind talking to their coaches. They don't mind, staying late and practicing whatever play over and over and over again until they get it right, because they want to win. But I don't know that they transfer that same attitude and that same awareness of I'm asking a question because I don't know in the academic arena or in their profession and career. But they take ownership of those sports. They take ownership of band and cheerleading and, all of those extracurricular activities. And nobody has to push them to do the things that we're talking about that should be done in the academic arena as well.
Well, I guess it's like, when they have a passion about something, you're more apt to, really go out and, you just don't care because you got that passion and you're going to make sure that you do well and succeed in that regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's lots of help available, and the coaches tell them all the time that that's what they're there for, is to help them. But that's why teachers are there. That's why administrators are there.
All right.
That's why, all of us are there, in the educational system, is to guide and help in the same way. But it's just, they're invested, as you said, they're invested in their passions.
All right. So young men, if you're out there listening, we want you to know it's okay to ask those questions because people don't want to see you fail. Believe it or not, the majority of people want to see you succeed. And in order to do that, they have to assist you. You don't have to do everything by trial and error. There are people that are assigned to assist you and are willing to help you to be your best self. So take that help in stride and keep moving. All right. Can you, Cheryl, can you explain how you and other educators can assist students in obtaining success?
How we assist students with attaining success is first looking at our common goals. And I know in the state of Texas, in order, at the high school level, students have to have so many credits to graduate. And so when I went in to speak with my students and guidance lessons, that was the focus. That was, my primary reason for being there, is that you are a freshman, and by the 4 years from now, the goal is for you to walk across the stage, and that is going to be the accomplishment here. But not only that, we want you to be prepared for career and or college and or career as well. And so it is not just going through, all of the 27 or 28 credits that are required, but that is why your teachers are standing in the gap for you. They have gone to college, they have majored in, science or math or history, because they want you to walk across that stage. They want you to be prepared for life. And so that is you have to have that goal. It can't just be, the teachers or the counselors, your parents, the administrators. It has to be your goal as well, because it's a shared goal, but it's also a shared responsibility. Each and every day that you're, coming to school, that is the goal, and again, I just go back to sports, is that, that goal line, you don't score unless you cross, and make a goal, or get to the end zone or goal in basketball. And I should know all of these sports analogies, but that's what I mean, is that is the goal. So they have to have that. I told my freshmen, I would give them a blank transcript, and I would say, I want you to visualize what you want college administrators, admissions officers, scholarship application committees, what do you want them to see? Because right now, your transcript is blank. This is where you're starting. But whether I was talking to freshmen or I was talking to sophomores, I would show them maybe a freshman. And I was like, okay, well, you may have had some hiccups in your freshman year, but you are here today and you can make a difference today. So what is your goal? What do you want your sophomore year to look like? What do you want your junior year to look like? And then, as we progress, when we're looking at the senior year, I still didn't say, oh, okay, it's over. It's like, oh, okay, well, you might not be able to go to, a private college here, SMU or Baylor. We may have to start at a community college. But what do you want from here moving forward? Because every day that you wake up and you have breath and you have, your command of your limbs, and you can walk and talk, then you can make a difference in your life today. Your past does not have to determine your future. It does not determine your future. So I think that is the first thing, is for us to emphasize the goal. What is the goal? And students should have short-term as well as long-term goals. And they should be held responsible. So whether you're putting those on the refrigerator, whether, your parents are sitting down with you every 6 weeks and you're going over that, as we did, as counselors, we went over grades and those types of things. And then you may have to readjust and, make some new goals, because those were maybe too lofty, or, maybe you can't accomplish that within this year, or just making some adjustments. And so I think goals give students hope, because it's not about today. It is about today. You want to live today. You want to live in the present, but you also want to make sure that what you're doing today does not impact your future negatively. So that's going to be decision making that I would say is next. Is that, the focus then is on making good decisions. If this is your goal, if you want to go to SMU, you want to go to Yale, you want to go to Harvard, you don't start thinking about that in your senior year. I had the valedictorian at Mesquite High School. He is actually, I think in 2002 when I was there, which seems so long ago, but Jim George, he is now a a cancer doctor here in Forney, where I live. And I remember meeting him in his sophomore year. He's Asian, and he came in. He was a sophomore, and he said to me, I was a new counselor, and he said, I am your valedictorian. And I said, are you a senior? And he said, no, ma'am, I'm a sophomore. He said, but I will be valedictorian in 2002. And he was. And so I asked him in his senior year, how long had that been a goal for you? And he said, since sixth grade.
Wow.
You started thinking about being valedictorian when you were in sixth grade. And he said, yes. And he said, that was because my sister was a senior and she was salutatorian, and I wanted to beat her. I wanted to be valedictorian. But it was also just, brilliant beyond brilliance. And there were colleges that were courting him. I mean, all over Dallas that wanted him to attend their college. And I just recently found out that that he is practicing here, just right outside of Mesquite, where he attended school. And so that goal that he set for himself back in sixth grade. And I remember telling that story that I told you about my nephews before we came on. I have two nephews, and I remember telling my nephew that story when he was in fourth grade, and he was getting ready to go. Well, I guess it was fifth grade. He was getting ready to go to middle school, and they were testing for the honors classes, and he wasn't sure that he wanted to do honors. And I said, no. Yes, you do. You do. This will be so much easier because you want to go to college, right? He goes, yeah, I want to go to college. I was like, well, honors classes will be the way. Well, when he wrote his essay, after me telling him that story about Jim George, he wrote that he wanted to be valedictorian of his class. And I said, are you sure you wrote that? Did you spell valedictorian correctly? And he goes, hey, Cheryl, they gave us a dictionary. And I said, that's my boy. That's my boy. He's like, I'm worrying about, the little things. And he's like, look at my goal. He's also doing very well today. So I think goal setting, helping them to make good decisions. And then I know as parents and as counselors, as educators, that we want to make sure that we are meeting whatever needs they have for their goals. So if they aspire to be writers, if they aspire to be doctors or lawyers or whatever, then we want to make sure that we are, providing that support early on. So if that means at career day, if I know that I have students in the freshman or sophomore class who want to be doctors and lawyers, then we want to make sure on career day that we have doctors and lawyers there who can talk with them. If they can do internships, or if they can just have some type of apprentice with those doctors during the summer or whatever. So the community has to also be involved, but we must bridge that gap with what their goals are and then how we're educating, because education is not just about the reading, the writing, and the arithmetic. It is, preparing them for life as productive students as well, good decision makers, critical thinkers, all of that. Did I answer that question?
Yes, yes, you did. I love it. You told us so much more, but but all of it was so good. I just loved it because, as you were talking, the thing that, really was getting me was, of course, they do need to set those goals, but you just all over me because you talk about the goals, and I love that. And then you were saying about, if they want to be something, you try to have those resources there. And then that comes all back to positive, thinking, and people speaking positive into their lives. So they don't need those people saying, well, because, just think about a young man, he said, well, I'm going to be valedictorian. He's a sophomore, and I could just see someone saying, go sit down somewhere. You're not going to be valedictorian. You're not that smart. Why do you think you're so smart? Because people tend to do that. So, and you know, a lot of times when people speak negative over you and to you, then if you're not strong-willed, you begin to think, oh, well, you know, maybe I can't be valedictorian. You know, I thought I wanted to because my sister was salutatorian, but maybe I can't, you know. So that's why you need positive people around you. I talk, you know, always talking about those associations, those people you have in your life. And I, you know, try to strive that young men, well, all young people, but, you know, young men, you have to care about yourself first and foremost. And then you need to be around positive people that are speaking positive things into your life.
Absolutely.
So yes, you did answer that question, but you were all up in it. That was just
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know any other way to be. I would never, ever, and I do remember, you know, teachers telling me, you know, I struggled with math, for example. And I had teachers who told me, well, you should major in English because you're never going to do well in math. And I remember that to this day. And I'm, you know, I'm much older. I almost said my age. It's like, okay, I don't know who this audience is. So I was like, but I do remember her telling me that. And, you know, I had a lot of respect for her. And because I was struggling, I thought, well, I probably should major in English because English does come, you know, easier for me. And consequently, as you're saying, Deborah, that I majored in English in college. I didn't even, you know, I took only the math courses that were required. That was it, you know. But Carol, you know, is my mentor, and you know, she taught math, and I have always been fascinated by math. And so in my doctoral studies, you know, they were talking about how, you know, all of the statistics courses, those are the courses that were keeping people from actually finishing their degree. And I said, oh, Lord, so you brought the math back to me. And I will tell you, and it's not bragging or anything, that with those statistics classes, well, I'll tell you the first professor, he said, and it just helped me so much. He said, you do not have to be a mathematician to do well in statistics. I said, well, let's go. I can do this. I can do this. Let's go. But that's the positive. And he became one of the integral people on my committee because he did believe in me. He believed in me. And he was a statistician. He was a mathematician, but he never condescended to me. He never made me feel like I could not do it. And I thank him for that today.
Yeah, it makes a difference. It really does. So thank you. Trying to see if we had any more comments. Oh, that good, Carol. Power of the words. Right on, Carol. Right on. You are so right. Yes. And hello, Vito. Thank you for tuning in today. All right. In your interaction with young people today, seems like I already asked this, are they open to help? I know sometimes I ask, do they, you know, kind of like, act like they're afraid to ask questions or seek help. But if the help is offered, are they open to receive it?
Definitely. Definitely. And I heard you say about the relationship first. That's important because when students are asking for help, they want to know, and I have this over my door as a counselor, that children, students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so you have to care. They know that you care. They will come in and they will spill their guts. They will ask you whatever they need because they trust that you're going to not only help them with the resources and the guidance that they need, but that you're not going to judge them. And that is so important. That is so important. So I would say that if there are young people who are less trusting or less open, then I just said it. It's more of a trust issue. It could be a personality issue too, but you can always navigate around or work around the personality, the shy, introverted, type of people. That's their personality. However, if they know that you care, and if they have the goal of completing whatever the task is, students will seek whomever in order to get that problem resolved. And I've seen it because, just going into the classrooms as a counselor at the beginning of the year, I would say, I am your advocate. And I would say, do y'all know what that is? And they would say, yeah, no, but I was like, okay, do you know what a lawyer does? And they were like, well, yes, they defend the person and they blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, okay. Then they're also called advocates. I was like, so in this school, I am always on your side. Always on your side. Now, we may have a talk about if you're doing something wrong or, but I can't go down with you. The ship going down, I can't go down with you. However, I am going to advocate for you. So that means that if we go into parent conferences, if, we need to have a one-on-one with a teacher, whatever, I am going to be your advocate. I'm going to be your support. So I had big football players that would come into my office, and I knew something was up when my hair is flying. I knew something was up when they closed my door. My door was always open. They would close my door. They would sit down, and then immediately they would start crying. And we're talking like big, like defensive, offensive players, blah, blah, blah. And the principal asked me once, he said, how do you make these big guys cry? I was like, I don't make them cry. It's counselor on my desk. They come in and they just want help with whatever problem it is. And there were problems that we had to pick up the phone and call parents and say, this is what happened this weekend. And they want to talk to you about it, or if my girls came in and they were fearful of something and they're like, Miss Allen, well, can you please be with me when I talk to my parents about whatever this issue is? I was like, I got you. I'm always going to be there to support. So once they know, and once you have that reputation too, it's like she keeps your, confidences. She doesn't judge. And she truly, goes the extra mile, then your door is like, you can't do your work. It's like, because counselors have a lot of paperwork to do as well. Your door, students are always coming in, and not only your students, but you have a roster, alphabet, but other people's, other counselors' students are coming to you. And I believed in people over paper, so I would have to work late because those students were needing me. But I would say, I don't know, I wouldn't say a percentage, but if I had to give you a percentage, I would say 80 to 90% of the students who are aware of what a counselor does, what a teacher, how a teacher supports them or can support them outside of the curriculum, the content. And they establish that through the relationships. They establish that. And then it's just like your reputation precedes you. So when other students come in, they have older siblings, they say, oh yeah, go to her. She's cool. She'll tell you this. She'll help you, blah, blah, blah. So they receive it because they need it. And they know that they need it. So I think that they're always looking for someone that they can trust. And unfortunately, too many have had experiences where the trust has been broken, and they may categorize, all teachers or all counselors or all administrators the same, but we're not. So we have to rectify that as well.
All right. Yeah, that's good.
I believe in their resilience, Deborah. I believe in their resilience. I believe that students all of them can succeed. I just don't believe that there's one that can't at his level.
All right. I think, and that's one reason why I started this platform because,
Mhm.
and a lot of people say, well, you are female. Why are you trying to help young men? You're not a man. Well, that's my passion.
Mhm.
I'm a mom, I raise boys, and young men are my passion. And there are
Mhm.
so many platforms for young ladies. But
Mhm.
I just, I see the things that happen in society. And
Mhm.
it's like they're taking our young men, just beating them down. You're dumb, you're stupid, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I know better. I know that they are bright, they are intelligent, they can do anything that anybody else can do. And I know they want to do these things. Sometimes they just don't know how. They need assistance. So instead of people beating them down, give them a hand up, assist them, help them, show them the right way. And I couldn't think of this before, but the other thing that you said that really motivated me is when you said, education is great, but they need to know about those life principles,
Mhm.
and that's not taught anymore. And so
Mhm.
all of these things, that is why I do this, because it is just so helpful when there is someone that you can trust, you can talk to. Because
Mhm.
I, for one, waited till I got a little bit older to start working on my degree. And
Mhm.
we had this
Mhm.
thing about rate my professor. So of course I went out and looked. I wanted to see a professor that was gonna, this is a professor that will help you. They are always open, you
Right.
know, and whatever. And I'm a person, I don't speak up a lot. If it's something for my grandkids and my kids, then I'm gonna be up and I'm speaking. But otherwise I'm kind of laid back. But
Right.
when I was doing those classes, it was like, hey, I got a question, and can I come and meet with you? Can I talk with you? Even in
Exactly.
a couple classes, I was thinking about, ooh, can I really do this? Hey, I'm kind of on the edge right here. I don't know if this is something, like one teacher said, if you can't remember things, this class is memorization. If you can't do it, you need to drop the class. And I was like, wait a minute. I talked to him, ended up, it was a humanities class, but
Right.
his whole theme was James Bond's movies, the different eras, and he attached everything to the eras that the movie came out of. But I ended up making an A. But it was like, it's like, no, but you gotta want to do it, and remember enough. But it
Mhm.
was a fun class,
Mhm.
and I did it. But you gotta speak up for yourself, for one.
You absolutely do. And that's something I think that we need to teach our respectfully. But now I don't know that we need to teach them that because most of them are very vocal. They are, about things that maybe they think they know. I think social media has given them that confidence in that way. And then the world that our young people are growing up in today. I mean, it's fast paced. It's information at their fingertips. I mean, they as soon as something happens, they know. And it's like somebody has video recorded it like 50 times, and so all of that. So they have. It's almost like information overload. So they don't know how to filter the things that are coming at them, so very quickly, which is why they still need, those of us who are now wise. When we were their ages, we weren't so much, but they still need, they will not need adult guidance. I don't, it doesn't matter how much more advanced they are than we were, blah, 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 because they have not experienced. And my mom reminded me of that. I have been around the block several times. You have not. And so because we have experienced life, I guess one of your other questions is, they do not have to um, go through the trial and error themselves. They don't have to fall in the same holes that we fell in. We need to pay it forward that, we messed up, we made these mistakes, but now I know the way. And so I'm going to tell you to go this way because there's a hole there. So trust me, don't go that way. It's not because I want to take your fun away. It's not because I don't want you to be cool. Not that I don't want, you to have, friends, but I do want you to be successful. And this is the way. This is the way. So trust me, in the end, you will find that, that I was right.
All right.
Because of trial and error on my part.
Yes, it's like, I know we made mistakes when we were young. Everybody, has to. However, I wish someone had told me some of those things. And I listen. This is, every little boy that tells you, "Oh, you're so cute. I love you." No, that's not true. Sometimes you need people to tell you some things. And so, I gave a scenario once before about, you go away to school, this young man, and, he wants to impress somebody. And boy, he is missing his grandmother's pound cake. Oh, that was the best pound cake. So he goes in the kitchen. Oh, it can't be that hard. I've watched her enough times. So he just goes in the kitchen. So she puts some of this in there, and she puts some of that in there, and she puts some in there. And then he gets this something, but it doesn't taste like grandma's. Well, you went through all of that and you tried. However, if you had called grandmama,
exactly.
Grandmama, I want to try to make this cake, she would tell you what to put in it, how much to put in there. You didn't have to do it by trial and error. You could have had you some good grandmama cake,
Wow.
but you didn't want to call it ass.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, you kind of alluded to that. I was, talking about, asking authoritative figures sometimes, don't think you have to just learn everything by mistakes. Find out, that they so old, they don't know. She don't know, she don't even know the slang words. I might not know the slang words, but you tell me, break it down for me. I bet I can help you.
I bet I can help you. Exactly. Because there's something that, once we get past that vernacular, whatever those words are, then, what's the true issue? Because unless you have some wisdom under your belt, some experiences under your belt, you won't be able, and that's what, it's all about. It's just talking cool and, and never ever going any deeper than that. And so once they stop and they do explore, I think the help that is available, they see how much more successful they can be, I think. Yeah, because they, again, males, they want, it's an ego thing. I don't know whether there are comments in regard to that, I'm, again, speaking from experience with 4 brothers, and then guys that, that I've dated over the years, and, that it's ego. It's like, the same thing. They don't ask for direction. You were talking about the cake. It's like, I've been in a car with someone and we're lost and they refuse to ask directions. This is before GPS and all that. But, they refuse. It's like, or I'll contribute. Like, I think that we were supposed to turn left up there. It's like, oh, no, we're supposed to go on down and do that, because they don't want to be wrong.
Right.
They don't want to be wrong. So I think that if we train our young men early on that, it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to not know something and to accept and receive help from others, even if it's a female.
Yeah.
I don't think the male coaches, boy, whatever those male coaches say, it's like the Bible. It's like the gospel. It is like, that is what my coach said, and that's it, But they want to debate sometimes with whatever Miss Allen says sometimes. But then they come back and they say, you know what, you were right about that. So I have another question.
Mm-hmm. Right. If they just take the time to listen and, stop, well, I got this, I know. Take the time to, if you see, well, this person talked I saw this person talk to Dr. Allen and they seem to be doing okay. Maybe I can go in there too. My boy don't have to know I'm going in here. Sometimes they don't want their friends to know what they're doing. But you have to look out for yourself. Your friend may not need the help,
Exactly. And your friend may need the help and want the help, but maybe his ego is keeping him from doing it. So maybe you can be the model. Maybe you can set the standard, let's reverse the peer pressure. I used to always say that to them. It's like, let's use positive peer. If we have peer pressure, let's use positive peer pressure. Let's pressure people into doing the right thing and not the wrong thing. So we can use peer pressure that way as well.
Yep.
But it takes courage. It takes courage either way for them to overcome some of those ingrained and cultural and maybe even the natural tendencies to want to be the one who's in control and know it all and that type of thing. So I'm thinking that this is teaching me, this is why our girls are more apt to access the systems and know how to navigate. And they are the ones who help their boyfriends too, a lot of the time, and their male friends as well.
Yeah. Hi, Linda. All right, Cheryl, can you give our parents 5 tips, more if you would like, to assist their children in reaching their full potential?
So I think that I started out with believe in, we talked about that already, but first you must be your child's biggest cheerleader. You must be your child's biggest cheerleader. There is nothing that your child cannot do. There is, I have learned that more and more. It's just like, even with I said that about math, it's not that certain people know math and certain people do not. It's the time that it's going to take, if you are not as strong, for you to build that, to build that strength there. So we must believe in the child's potential to become the best version of themselves. You're not comparing, if you have 4 children, you're not comparing that middle child to the baby who's very smart or to the oldest child who's very smart. You are looking at that baby individually, that child individually. And so you must know what their gifts are, what their talents are, and you have to help them to maximize those. So you must believe in your child's potential. And then I think second, after you know what what their potential is, and you are always reinforcing that for them. Because if they know that mama believes in me, that's going to motivate them to go to school. And if there is a teacher who does not believe, then what their head is full of is that my mom said I am. My mom, just like God says who we are, that is who I am. It is not who you think I am or who you want me to be. This is who I am because my mom told me. And this is, who I am. Also, I think before I talk about goals, I think that parents, and including, and I'm a surrogate mom and for so many, but let them fail. Let them fail. Let them fall. When you think about, and you said, Deborah, that you have children, I've been around nieces and nephews who were babies, and they crawled and then they walked, but they fail a lot. And I would always go over, oh no, did you hurt yourself? And they're like, no, let him fall. He'll get up again. And they cried a little and they got up. And eventually those babies walked. And so it's the same thing, I think in school, is that as soon as we see grades that are not maybe where we want them to be, of course we should investigate, what's going on. If an A drops to a C, what help, what assistance do they need? But the first thing, your line of defense should not be calling that teacher and saying, what's wrong with you? Because my child is blah, 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 that type of thing. But you want to investigate why. And then that teaches children that you're not always going to to get things on the first try. That is going to build resiliency, and it's going to build confidence and strength, because you don't get it right the first time. And that's Carol Dweck. You probably have heard of Carol Dweck's work, where she talks about students who believe in earning and learning their way to the top, instead of just having this natural talent, of being smart, because those students tend to work harder, even when they get to college. And I know, because I was one of them. I was a B student all of my life, and I had to work, I tell people, for B's. But there are students that it comes easily to. And so for those students where it comes a little bit harder, if B is the best, and they are falling and they're struggling, then allow them to continue to build those muscles at that stage. So don't always rescue. Don't be so quick, to not let them learn the full lesson. And then third, I think is helping them to set goals. That, at the beginning of the year, this sounds like something that maybe is not done at home, but I think it should be done at home. Is that, this year, what are your short-term goals? What are your long-term goals? Let them say that they want to make A's in this class and B's in this class. And then you hold them accountable if they're not, instead of you're saying that you want a 4.0, and that your child is maybe not, strong in all of those classes. But being realistic and helping your students to set, your children to set realistic goals for themselves. And then having a plan with those goals. I think too often we write the goals and then there's no plan of action. There are no action, items or steps. That needs to be maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 columns where they're actually writing their goals. And then they have the plan of the steps. And then they have who is going to help me, at these different junctures. And then they have in that last column, how they're going to check, or when they're going to check the dates that they're going to check to see if they're achieving those goals or if they're on the right track. And then they may need to make, again, some adjustments. But that is just, that is a constant thing that they're doing until they have achieved. And some people can have it, have it in their heads. But I think until college and even through college, just setting goals. I mean, we used to write 5-year plans, for where we wanted to, at 20 or 21. I knew where I wanted to be, in my career, by 26, going into 30. But I don't know that we emphasize that today. But we can set goals with middle school and high schoolers. And again, that gives them the hope. And then the next thing I would say is let them read for fun. Let them read for fun. There is so much available on the internet that, the TikToks and Snapchat and all the social media. But I just really believe in that brick and mortar book, and I don't know that they have to check them out from the library. They still can. The libraries are still open. They still have books on the shelf that are collecting dust right now. But you can go to the half price bookstore. That was something that my youngest nephew looked forward to us doing on Saturday, is going to half price books. And he didn't want to come home and read the books. He wanted to be in the store at the little table they had for children. He wanted to stay there and read his books. But I allowed him to do that because I knew what we were nurturing. I knew that we were developing, that reading aptitude with him. And he never, all through that was younger, he never had issues with writing or with reading. And it was because of that focus. So allow them to read, and they can, I think about Carson, Dr. Carson. who was just in the Trump,
Ben Carson.
Ben Carson. That's what his mom did. Whenever Ben Carson early on was a he had a really bad temper in fifth grade, and he was just getting in trouble all the time. And his mom was illiterate, and so what she did with him and his brother, that she made them do book reports. And he's like, "Why are you making us do book reports when you can't even read them?" And she said, "That's beside the point. You will do them. You will read the books, and then you will write a book report." And he said that that's where because he checked out books on, on science and rocks and, all of that. So that's where he got his start. And so soon he was, mastering the spelling bee, and because it was a word that was in one of the books that he had read, the science books that he had read. And so you never know how that content, that material is going to be used in their lives. But look at the platform. The first African-American neurosurgeon, and it was because his mom made him, and she just got that temper in control. So let them read for fun. Find things that they're interested in, and let them read books. And then last, is this fifth? Allow your children to serve with you or to serve in the community, to do some type of community service. And it's not just to pad their resumes. It's not to, for scholarship applications later. All my seniors would, they were all into the community service in their senior year. But I said, honey, no, it actually should start, in your 8th grade year, your 7th grade year, so that people see the consistency. And it's really a part of who you are. It's your character, where you are willing to give to others, not just receive, but to give. And I think today that's more important because our children are more entitled. They believe that they are just supposed to have, and they don't really have to earn or work for anything. And so, and I think it gives them also an appreciation for what they have when they see others who are maybe in the community who have less and that are in need. And so, and what that does, that is so huge on applications for so many of the Ivy League colleges like Harvard. I mean, they will take you probably have read articles where they've taken homeless children in and given them full scholarships because of their experiences and their willingness to be selfless and to want to create a world where they are making a difference. It's not all about when, if you think about the Harvard graduates, they're not graduating in order to make billions of dollars or whatever. Some of them may, but most of them, that liberal arts and that humanities college is going to emphasize how can you make this world better than it is right now? What is your role in that? And I think community service helps with that. But then at the same time, you can use it on your resume. You can use it on your college applications and your college admissions applications. So community service is huge.
Great. Good tips. Well, Cheryl, this has been wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. As we prepare to close, can you please provide tips for our students and other young men in seeking the help they need to be successful?
Yeah, the best tip I think is, number one, that you know who you are and you know what your goals are, and that you get to know you're at the high school level or at the college level. At the high school level, they're called counselors and guidance counselors. At the college level, they're advisors. And, and working at the college, I see the advisors, and how they are, helping students to navigate the different systems. Parents, know your children, know their goals, help them to to keep those goals in the forefront of their minds, and provide them with experiences and opportunities to actually help those dreams and those goals to manifest. And then if that means that your son wants to be an engineer, there's so many engineering summer prep programs that they can be a part of, and not all of them are at a cost. Some of them are free. And so because there are so many companies that want to start early in grooming their workers that they need. And with all the baby boomers that you hear in the research, or you see in the research, that are retiring now, these that field, many others are wide open. And so I just saw one of my church members. I'm like, but yes, I definitely would say, making sure that they are attending seminars, in the church or in the community, in order to really stimulate and motivate them. It's not just, it's a dream. It's a dream until we are walking it out, until we are actually helping students to bring about that dream to a reality. So believing your students, believing your children, make sure that they know that you believe in them. And then mentors, seek them out. I've had, I have college students right now who are saying to me, okay, once we are on summer break, is there any way that I can get your email? Can I get your, no, that they don't ask you for your phone number. That's too, I guess, too private, but seek the mentor. They want the help. So they did not want to just come into my virtual room and then let that be the end of the relationship that we have with each other. They have sought me out. So seek those mentors out. Use your platforms, your social media platforms for positive. Try, even, if you're putting Bible verses on there, if you are sharing something that you learned that's new, and you have, 1,000, 1,000,000 followers or whatever, they're all going to read that. And somebody, even if there's one person who's motivated to do something differently, you've succeeded. You've succeeded. And just really work as a team. I would say to the teachers that are viewing, the community advocates that are viewing that, and as well as parents and students, we all have a role. It takes a village. It truly, truly does take a village to raise a child. Don't assume that they have all the resources. Ask the questions and maybe encourage them to ask questions as well. Don't do it for them. Lead them, show them how, and then watch and see the resilience of these students. It will shock you.
Great job. Great tips. Thank you so much.
I love CJ.
I was giving you time to read the comment. Well, thank you so much. All this information has been wonderful, and I know people get tired of me hearing me say it, but I applaud all educators. Where would we be without educators? We need you. We all need you to survive. You are the glue that helps us raise our children, for them to get to be the people that, to live out their purpose. God gave them a purpose, but they need someone to show them how to mold it and make it work, put it together. And y'all do that so well. So I thank you, thank you, thank you. And
thank you
for all the information.
Thank you for investing. And I asked Carol, I say, is she an educator? But thank you for taking up that, that mallet and really running with it, because you see as a parent the need, and that is important. That is important. And teachers need your support. They need your support. That they need to be who they've been called to be, but they can't do it without the home. They can't do it without the community. And it's so much easier if all of us are carrying that burden together. It makes it lighter for each and every one of us.
Right. And, as a parent, and as parents, you say the educators need parents, but we need the parents to, sit down and have that conversation with the child, try to, get the perspective of what happened or what's going on before they want to go to the school and blame the teacher. Most times it's 95% of the time it's the child. And I would always question my sons now, okay, so I have to go to the school. And so now what is the teacher going to say to me? It's blah, blah, blah. No, are you sure? Because I don't know, it's my time, not her time. So we go right, go with a good attitude and ready to listen, because it's going to take you and that educator working together to help that child. So, don't go like, I'm going to go get her straight or him straight. You don't know the whole situation. Find out what's really going on first and see what you can do to help the situation.
Absolutely. And I think so often that parents know that, if students are misbehaving, then I know my mom used to tell me, that's a reflection on me. That's a reflection on me. And so parents are, I think, a little quick to jump to, those conclusions, whatever the child be held accountable. But truly, I mean, it's not about the blame game. Again, I talked with my mentor about that today. It's not about the blame game. It's about how can we resolve whatever the issue is that we have, because you must believe, positive presuppositions. We must believe that teacher wants my child to succeed. And until you have absolute proof that is not true, that is going to be, your premise in dealing with that teacher, is that she is a co-worker. She is a co-laborer. She is on your team, and you don't fight your team. You don't, have battles with your team. Let's see how we can work it out. Again, I could use the boosters as an example, because they have conflict, but on Friday night lights, you cannot tell, because they are all sitting there together on one accord because they want to win. And so if we could take that same attitude, and just harness it and, take it to the academic, arena, the classroom. It's the same thing. Like your coach, I am your coach. I started calling myself facilitator, coach instead of teacher, because there were so many bad connotations or negative connotations of teacher. But there are pupils. Do you remember that word, Deborah? The word pupil? And I looked up the word disciple today, and the word pupil came up. We don't use that term anymore.
Right.
But they are our followers. They are our apprentice. And we must take the relationship and what we're imparting to them, we must take it very seriously. Take it very seriously.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This has been wonderful. I'm sorry it took us so long to connect, but it has been worth the wait.
It wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. My first time. Yay. You're a great host. You're a great host.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for the questions to prep.
Oh, you're welcome. It takes a great guest for me to be a great host. Thank you so much. So I thank everyone for tuning in. I appreciate your engagement today. Please tune in this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be Deborah and Carol with our coffee chat. And so we are ready to have a great conversation with you on Thursday. So please tune in at 6:30 p.m. We are ready.
I will be here.
Thank you. And remember, if this is your first time viewing, please like my page so you can see what we have going on Build Your Best Life. And, you know, I take all the comments, anything that you have that will help us to assist young people. I'm open. You don't have to beat me over the head. I appreciate the feedback. So thank you so much. And as always, remember, as you travel on your road to being a better you, you will run into distractions, pitfalls, rough terrain, and detours. Don't let any of those negative aspects of your journey stop you. Though they may slow you down, keep going to be a better you so that you can build your best life. And remember, building your best life is our business. And that's not a slogan, it's our commitment. Thank you so much. Love you. Be blessed. And again, thank you, Dr. Cheryl Allen, for coming on. You're been welcome. A blast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank your audience.
Thank you. See you all on Thursday. Be safe out there.
Okay, bye-bye.